Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video where I talk about The Legend of Korra and also rank every character in The Legend of Korra. I have done a video ranking every character from Avatar: The Last Airbender as well as Glee. So if you want to check those out, check them out. If my hair kind of looks ew, don't worry, it's not grease. I just got out of the shower, which I feel like is pretty typical of me. I always seem to be filming right when I get out of the shower. But while I still have your attention, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I upload a new video, and comment, share, follow my social media, Instagram and Twitter at Trace_Vaughn. Awesome. Now that that's out of the way, let's just jump right in. So before I actually start ranking the show characters, I'm just gonna give my general thoughts of the show. I feel like it was good. It just didn't measure up to Avatar: The Last Airbender for me. I don't know if it's just because that show is the superior show, or if it has something to do with the fact that I grew up watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and The Legend of Korra is something I just watched on Netflix in the span of a couple weeks. I don't know, but I will say some things that stood out to me were that the characters were a lot more one-dimensional than the characters from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like the Legend of Korra characters, they were very just extreme. Like they were like characters, they weren't like real people. Like they were just taken to the extreme. Like for example, in a different show, I feel like a good example would be like Kat from Victorious. Like she started off as like a relatively normal human, but as the seasons progressed in the show, Kat just became a lot. And I feel like that's where a lot of the characters in The Legend of Korra started. But in Avatar: The Last Airbender, you could be goofy, silly, whatever, but still be grounded in reality. Like Sokka, like he was silly, he was goofy, but he was a human that you could connect to and relate to. And I feel like some of that authenticity was lost for the sake of comedy. Another thing I feel like everything just happened so fast in The Legend of Korra. Like so many things happened. Like it was like one moment we're in the Southern Water Tribe, then we gotta go to Republic City, now we gotta go to the Air Temple, let's fight some Equalists, let's like worry about Asami's factory or whatever, or like these inventions, or like oh my god, like so, and they were and like the spirit world, like there was so much going on, and I feel like that just made me not care as much. Like in Avatar: The Last Airbender, there was a set goal that you had to wait for and work for, but in The Legend of Korra, events would just come and go so quickly. So that was another thing that I didn't really care about for Legend of Korra. Also, the Avatar state in The Legend of Korra was so much different than, I don't know what that noise was, but The Legend of Korra, the Avatar state was so much different than it was in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like Korra, I guess she's just that good at tapping into the Avatar state. She just like goes in and out so quickly, but for Aang it was like an event, and it like had more impact. It meant something more than to just, oh, Avatar state, yip yip, you know? Also, this happened in Avatar: The Last Airbender too, but I really noticed it in The Legend of Korra. injuries were so inconsistent. Like, you could fall from like 2 stories and be perfectly fine, or you could get shoved into a wall and get completely knocked out. Like, there was no definitive threshold for which injuries impacted you more severely than others. So that was interesting to see. One thing I did like, which maybe isn't something that a person should like, I liked that people actually died in The Legend of Korra. There weren't a ton of deaths, but there were some, and they were all not very important characters, so that was whatever. But I feel like that was more realistic because they were literally going to a war, so obviously there's gonna be some casualties. And in Avatar: The Last Airbender, the only people I can think of that died were Yue and Jet, even though Jet was like unclear and Yue sacrificed herself to become the moon spirit. But yeah, that was one thing I enjoyed about The Legend of Korra. A couple more things. There were so many characters in Legend of Korra. Like, how do you expect me to care about so many characters? Like, there were your main characters, but then there were like side characters, and then side characters. Like there was Korra, and then Tenzin, and then Tenzin's family, and then Tenzin's distant family, and then there was like Tenzin's like children's friends. Like, calm down. That is too much. I don't care. It's cool that they explored that world, but they explored it too much. Just stick to a couple things and then really build those up. That would be appreciated. And one final thing, which I know this is a Nickelodeon show, so they're not going to do anything crazy, but everyone was saying Cora's a lesbian, and I was excited to see that because I haven't seen The Legend of Korra until these past few weeks, but I would see on Twitter or like in my YouTube recommended videos of like Korra being gay for 5 minutes straight, or like gay Korra moments and stuff like that. So I was expecting for it to actually be a thing in the show, which I know Nickelodeon wouldn't want to deal with the backlash, but they literally just implied it in like the last 3 episodes. Like, Korra like blushed at Asami, and then they held hands at like the very end of the show and stared at each other. I was expecting a little more. I was looking forward to seeing Korra like discover her sexuality, but that didn't happen. And once again, I'm disappointed. But it's fine. I get it. Nickelodeon doesn't want to deal with the backlash of people not understanding that love is love. But it's fine. It is what it is. It was just a bit disappointing because I was looking forward to it. I also thought it was so interesting how the show was so heavily influenced by like the 1930s. I'm guessing it's the 1930s because it was like radios were a big thing. The whole news report sounded like it was coming from the 30s. But then there were things like movers that were being invented, like movies, but movies had been around since like the 20s and silent films before. So I guess they just kind of lumped like the 20s, 30s, and 40s into one thing. And I also don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but what was it, like a allegory? Is it supposed to be about World War II? Like, I don't know. I'm not in the mood to use my brain to figure out the deeper meaning. But I just thought it was interesting that they decided this is the setting in which the show will take place. I did like it. I thought it was good. I just didn't connect to it as much as I did after The Last Airbender. I think on a scale of 1 to 10, if Avatar were a 10, Korra would be maybe a 6.5, maybe a 7, or maybe like a 6.75. That's a good compromise. We'll go with that. But anyways, enough chit chat about the show. Comment if you agree on any of those opinions. But let's jump into the character rankings. Alright kitties, so these are my categories. At the very top we have Avatar State, like top of the line, best of the best. Underneath we have the elite characters, which are good characters, great characters, just not quite good enough to be in the Avatar State. And then we have our good characters, mediocre, can suck a toad, and then last but probably least, the I don't know hers.
I don't know. Die kenne ich nicht.
Like they're either completely irrelevant or I don't remember them, which might be a lot of them if we're being honest, because there's just so many that are there for like one episode for really no reason of purpose other than to just be there. But yeah, let's get started. First we have Aang. I'll put him at good. In Avatar The Last Airbender, actually no, I'm not gonna spoil where I put him for that video. So if you want to find out, watch that video. But for here, I'm gonna put him at good because he was good. He gave Korra a little bit of guidance, but we come to find out that he wasn't the perfect avatar. He favored Tenzin over his other children. He did his best. His best wasn't the best, you know? But he tried. He was good. Then we have the leader of the Equalists. I forgot his real name, but he can suck a toad. Trash. Then we have Asami. Asami can go to Avatar State. I actually really like her. She wasn't a bender, but she was really smart. She was an inventor, a business owner, and and she could really hold her own in a fight. So congrats, Asami. And she was really pretty. And then she started to maybe have a thing with Korra at the end, which I appreciate. Hashtag gay rights. So yeah, Avatar State. I literally don't remember her name, but like this is one of Toph's daughter's sons, and he can suck a toad. He was useless. He helped Kumira in her evil schemes to form an empire. Not a fan. Bolin. Okay, Bolin, he's one of those characters that they just took things too far with him. I get that he was supposed to be goofy and like comedic relief, but he was just completely stupid. He was just a complete doorknob. Like how stupid. It was just really frustrating to watch him because he was a good guy, but he was just annoying sometimes. So I'm gonna put him at good for now. Tenzin's brother, I don't remember his name. He can go to mediocre. I really don't know what to say about him. He was kind of useless for a hot minute until he learned how to airbend, but also he was helpful. He helped out a couple times without his airbending, but he was another one that was just like completely obnoxious and I was not here for it, but he wasn't as charming as Bolin. Up next we have Eska and Desna. Honestly, they're gonna go to elite because Desna's the guy, I think. So when I say Desna, I'm talking about the guy. When I'm talking about Eska, I'm talking about the girl. Maybe I'm not even saying their names correctly, but it is what it is. So just stick with me. Desna was just kind of bland. He literally just existed, But Desna was so funny to me. Like, she was so miserable. I love Aubrey Plaza. She was so awkward. Like, I remember one time she laughed and it was just the most unnatural thing possible. It was so funny. And then when she was like blasting through the ice to come like attack Bolin after he broke up with her, and her eye makeup and mascara was just streaming and she looked insane. That was so funny. She gives me a more introverted, chaotic version of Dakota Fanning in Twilight when she was a member of the Volturi, and I was here for it. Next is the Earth Kingdom Queen. Don't remember her name. She can suck a toad. She just kind of sucked. I don't really remember why she sucked. I just remember that she did. I don't remember this guy. Was he one of those like people that were imprisoned for 13 years? Maybe. He might have been one of those. Either way, I don't remember for sure, so I don't know her. Next we have Asami's dad. He can go to mediocre because he was working for the Equalists. Like, what the heck? But then he redeemed himself when he was fighting against Kumira. Up next we have Iki, Tenzin's daughter. She can go to mediocre. She really didn't have much to offer. Sorry about it. Next up we have General Iroh. General Iroh can go to mediocre. He literally was there for 2 episodes, maybe. He helped out Korra somehow, but I don't remember what he did. And also, the guy that voiced him voiced Zuko in Avatar, so every time he talked, I just heard Zuko, and I couldn't get into his character. And then we have Uncle Iroh. I'm gonna put him in Elite. Ugh, that kind of pains me because I love him so much. But in Legend of Korra, he was just different. Like, he looked different, and he sounded different. He just wasn't the same Iroh that I grew to love. Even though he was still pretty much the same, it just wasn't what I'm familiar with and comfortable with. And then we have Jinora. She can go to Elite. She was actually cool. Like, she got her bending tattoo, like her airbending tattoos, like, because she was a great airbender, and she also had an amazing connection to the spirit world. Like, come through, Jinora. Like, way to be helpful, connect to those spirits. That is a very admirable skill to have, and it was fun watching her. Up next we have Kai. Is that his name? I'm just gonna call him Kai. He can go to mediocre. He was a little rascal, but then he ended up becoming better and being more helpful and not a thief and a troublemaker. But I just don't care. Like, whatever. Up next we have Katara. She can go to Elite. If there was more of her to be seen in the show, she maybe would have gone to Avatar State, but she was only there for a handful of episodes. But it was really nice seeing her and seeing how she was doing, and the fact that she's a healer now, and like the best of the best healers, and just a loving grandma. It was nice to get back in touch with her after all this time. Then we have the king, former prince of the Earth Kingdom, then king, then maybe some kind of democratic leader. I don't really know. He can go to mediocre. He was just so annoying. Oh my gosh. Like, he was such a wimp, so self-absorbed. He couldn't do anything on his own. He was so afraid of everything. But then he started turning things around towards the end. Like, he was able to get the Earth Kingdom to rally and evacuate in a calm manner during Chimera's attack. And then he decided to take the initiative and end the whole concept of monarchy. So that was cool. Korra, I feel like out of obligation, Avatar State. Like, she was a powerful bender, okay. But she was just, I feel like she was a mixture of Aang and Katara, but like more angsty. That pretty much sums up what Korra was like for me. Like, she did good. She made a lot of changes. She overcame a lot. All right. Chimera can suck a toad. Like, no thank you. We don't need your Earth Kingdom Empire. All right. Tenzin's sister. What's her name? Aunt Jade? I don't know. That's probably not it. She can go to good. I liked her. I did. Lin Beifong. She can go to good. She was so closed off, but she would have her moments where she opened up, and she was helpful, and that's appreciated. Mako. Okay, Mako can go to Avatar State. When I first was introduced to him, he just kind of seemed like a watered down Zuko. But then he opened up and actually became like an interesting character to watch. I feel like he was one of the few that was actually a real human. Then we have Milo. Is that his name? Milo can suck a toad. Honestly, sorry about it. He just was so annoying, like snot dripping, farting. Come on. Like, you can do better than that. Like, there's other ways to find humor than just make him. Oh, and on top of that, probably the worst thing about him is how just like aggressive and bossy he was. Like, calm down. You are 3 feet tall. Who do you think you are? I just did not like him. Then we have this woman, don't remember her name. She was in that prison for 13 years. She can suck a toad. She was obviously voiced by the woman who voiced Azula. So every time I heard her, I would just hear Azula. Up next we have Naga. Naga can go to Avatar State. We appreciate a polar bear dog. I have a Rottweiler at home, a very large dog, and I can relate. I can feel the love. Opal can go to good. She was sweet, helpful. She helped fight against Chimera. Oh my gosh, I'm already forgetting everyone's names. And I literally just watched the last episode earlier today. What's her face? Can suck a toad. She was another one of those prisoners. Or was she? I don't know. All I remember about her was when that metal thing, like, snatched her head and then she blew up inside it. Pabu can go to elite. Pabu is cute. Red pandas, so cute. And I know Pabu's like a panda raccoon. I don't know what Pabu is, but I like Pabu. And Pabu looks like red panda, and red pandas are cute. Up next we have Tenzin's wife. She was just there. I mean, she was good. Yeah. Rava can go to good because that's what she was. She was good. She was light. The president, mediocre. It was frustrating when he would butt heads with Korra, but I guess things worked themselves out in the end. Sokka. Okay, Sokka obviously has to go to Avatar State. Actually, well, if Katara is in Elite. Should he go to Elite, or should she also join him in Avatar State? He was there for like an episode. I'll put him in Elite. Sorry, Sokka. Okay, Lin's sister. I literally forgot her name. Is it Su Lee? Did I just make that up? She can go to good. I liked watching them reconnect. Okay, here, who is he? Is he, Katara's uncle? If this is Katara's uncle and I'm remembering correctly. Wait, no, or is this Katara's dad? I literally can't tell. No, that's Katara's dad. That is her uncle. Then who is this? Or no. What the heck? Okay. I think this is Katara's uncle. If I'm remembering correctly. He can suck on a toad. Tenzin. Elite. Thank you for helping out Korra. We really appreciate it. Except he was so in his own ways sometimes, and that was frustrating. Korra's dad can go to mediocre. He was always trying to protect her, even though sometimes she needed to do things and he was just holding her back. But he loved her, and he did his best. He did what he thought was best, or tried to do what he thought was best. Toph, obviously Avatar State. Hello. Except one thing that frustrated me with her is you could obviously tell that the voice actress was like a woman that was probably, I don't know, in her 40s or something, trying to sound old. Like, she didn't actually sound old. She sounded like a young person trying to sound old. This is Varric, I think. Or no, that's Varric. My bad. Then this is Unalog. Unalog, I think this is his name. Or no, is Unalog her uncle's name? I don't know, whatever. This is the representative guy of Republic City. And therefore, he can suck on a toad. It was so frustrating watching every time there was a meeting with all of the Republic City representatives, and then Tenzin would say one thing, which was the right thing, and then What's-His-Face would say another thing, which was the wrong thing, and then everyone would side with him. Ugh, I hated that. Vatu, we have Vatu. Vatu can suck on a toad. He was all chaos and blah blah. Not a fan. This is Varric. Varric is mediocre. Like, he was annoying, but he was helpful, but he was annoying, so mediocre. I literally don't remember his name, but he's the very first Avatar, and I guess he was good. Like, he was the very first Avatar, he started it all. However, he stole from the turtle lions, or the lion turtles, whatever, to get his elements. So that wasn't cool. But he ended up using them for good. He ended up befriending spirits in the spirit world. So we appreciate that. Come together, be the bridge. And then he helped fight Vatu and encapsulate him during harmonic convergence. Oh, can we talk about that? Harmonic convergence, that's another thing. Like, in Avatar The Last Airbender, it was like, everyone knew that, like, the solar eclipse was coming up, or Sozin's comet was coming up, or this was gonna happen, or that was gonna happen. And so there was a build-up to and anticipation leading up to it. But then there were things here like harmonic convergence. Like, let's just bring that up 2 episodes before it occurs. Like, please. I'm not gonna care about it if I just found out about it 5 minutes ago. Anyways, this guy, another one of those prisoners, and he can suck a toad. Is Jun Li the name of... Wait, Su Lin? Is Su Lin Lin Beifong's sister? Or did I make up... I really don't know their names. But whatever, this is Varric's assistant. She can go to good. I like that she lied to Kumira so she could infiltrate Kumira's side and sabotage her. And then I like how she stood up against Varric and was like, no, I will be treated as an equal, as she should. So good. And then last, but certainly not least, Zuko goes to Avatar State. He was so good in this. Like, hello? Like, it was so funny watching him. Oh. It was so funny. He was so much like Iroh, but also still himself. And when he would bring up Aang and reminisce, and when he was like, I almost killed the Avatar once. I didn't though. Like, what? He was just so awkward, but endearing, and I love it, and I love him. So, yeah, these are my rankings. I'm surprised I actually remembered as many of them as I did, even though I didn't remember all their names. But these are my rankings. And that's the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when I upload a new video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Trace_Vaughn. Also share the video. I would really appreciate it if you did. And remember, stay spicy. Mwah.